You are the luckiest people in the world because you are part of this world of making games. This world of making games where anything is possible. That's what's so exciting. Anything is possible. You've got people here talking today about how things were so completely different 18 months ago, 12 months ago, 6 months ago, 2 days ago. Things are changing all the time. I've learned from the time that I've spent working with Lego that anything is possible. I'm here with my son Sam as well. And today I want to tell you about, first of all, 2001. And we're going to move on from there. Do you remember 2001? 2001 was the year of Grand Theft Auto 3 on PlayStation 2. Does that seem like a long time ago or like it was really recently? Grand Theft Auto 3, do you remember playing that? Loved that game. Of course it was an excellent game. Loved that game. It seems quite recent to me. That was the year also that Wikipedia came into being. Before 2001, there was no Wikipedia. It was the year of Jak and Daxter on PlayStation 2, one of my favorite games of all time, and a game that I spent many, many hours playing to completion and playing with Sam's older brother, Toby, as well. Toby learnt how to play video games through Jak and Daxter. 2001, that was. It seems quite recently, and yet Sam, who's 12, was not alive in 2001. Sam has been born into a world post Grand Theft Auto 3, post Wikipedia. I wonder what that's like. Sam was born in the year 2002, which is also the year that Lego Star Wars was born. Lego Star Wars was released a little bit later, but in 2002, I was working at a company called Lego Interactive in Slough, the Lego offices in Slough, as part of a team that had been put together by Managing Director Tom Stone, with a mission to create a new kind of Lego video game. A game which drew upon the values of Lego, which believe that play is learning and that anything is possible. To create an amazing, fun experience for children. And it became an amazing, fun experience for children and their families as well. So Lego Interactive was the organization. That's Sam in his first year in 2002. Like any properly brought-up child, he is surrounded by Lego. His whole life is shaped by Lego. Can you imagine what that's like? Lego and video games are how Sam learnt. There's a screenshot there from Finding Nemo on PlayStation 2, a game developed at the time in 2002 by Traveller's Tales. Wonderfully talented team led by John Burton with John Hodgkinson as the lead programmer. We had James Cunliffe as the lead artist. All of that team went on to create Lego Star Wars, the video game, and they're all still with the business now, over many years since, continuing to lead production on Lego games. So 2002, this is the world now, we're in the world post-Wikipedia. We're in the world now, the year of Sam Smith and the years that come since then. That's when we visited the team that were working on Finding Nemo to say, hey, can you think of a way to make a new Lego game? In 2003, we did the work of visiting Lucasfilm, the Skywalker Ranch, and talking with them about the possibility of making that a Lego Star Wars game, which was an incredibly transgressive and exciting idea at the time, but immediately something that was seized upon by the team at Traveller's Tales as an opportunity for them to express their skills, both from an art point of view, from a coding point of view, their love of old-fashioned arcade game accessibility, playability, and so during the course of that year, they developed the first prototype for Lego Star Wars. It's a screenshot from one of our very early stamps, but already you can see they'd nailed the sheen, the visual surface quality of it, as well as what you can't see from just a screenshot, the simple pleasure in moving and playing with a character. And then added to that, the huge pleasure you get with playing and controlling a video game character with another player, the two-player drop-in, drop-out co-op system. So you can't quite see Yoda there at the entrance to the Skywalker offices, but we were going over there. We were selling that team on the idea of letting us do a Lego Star Wars team while Traveller's Tales was starting to build the game. And Sam, aged 1, in his Lego t-shirt, was visiting Legoland. Do you remember visiting Legoland? No, of course you don't, because he was only 1, for heaven's sake. In 2004, we're now well into the development of Lego Star Wars. The first time we told people about it was rather perversely now, in retrospect, through a printed magazine for hardcore gamers called Edge. We had a 6-page preview feature on the inside following a visit to their offices in Bath, sharing the cover with Halo 2. Halo 2, does that seem like a long time ago? Or does that seem like a long time ago? Was that recently? I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how long ago things were. They seem to tell a story, but it comes and goes. Halo 2, that seems, again, very, very recently. Lego Star Wars 1, not yet out. Sam, there, a tiny child with his hands on a Game Boy Advance, with his older brother Toby, now a gaming expert, with his GBA SP, and also his cousin Elliot with an SP as well. Do you remember the GBA SP? 2005, Lego Star Wars comes out. That's Sam and Toby playing it on GameCube. Do you remember GameCube? Was that a long time ago? Not sure, can't remember. But Lego Star Wars enabled 2 people to learn how to play video games. A new generation of players is learning how to play games. They're playing it on Game Boy Advance, perhaps, or on the GameCube controller. They were fun, they were good controllers. Did you like the GameCube controller? Yeah, we played a lot of Super Mario Sunshine. Do you remember that? That was awesome. Super Mario Sunshine, fantastic game. You can see there, you know those stock marketing footage pictures of like people playing games where they're dressed in white and they're sitting on a sofa and they're like that? That's not what people really look like when they play games, as you know, because they're drawn into another world and they're seeing possibilities in that world and they are learning in that world. That's the most interesting thing to any human being, to learn new things. I'm very proud to have been associated with a company like Lego that values that so highly and takes that responsibility so seriously, which means we can deliver them the new playground to learn together in and to discover their own potential, both as players and perhaps as experimenters as well, to discover what it's possible to do in these games. We continued from there. 2006, we had Lego Star Wars 2, Game Boy Advance, those cartridges, chunky cartridges, click them in. And Sam was, of course, playing with Lego still and very much living out the adventures that he'd played in the video game in real life, setting up those battles. That Republic gunship, I think, remains my favorite Lego model. Do you remember that one? Yes, of course you do. And you've got Mace Windu, who's a special character. Characters still got yellow faces mostly there. They're the old Lego Star Wars characters, although they are mixed in with the flesh-colored ones that we then featured in the game. 2007. The Wii was great for us. I hope it was great for some of you as well. The Wii proved that there was a bigger audience for video games than people who are playing PlayStation. I love PlayStation, I love those games, but there is a bigger audience, perhaps even bigger than the Wii, now we are discovering. But the Wii made game developers think about that audience in a new way. Sam, they're playing, do you remember what you're playing on that? You don't remember this holiday trip? It was one of the first big holidays of Pokemon. The big summer holidays. We've had those big summer holidays of Pokemon, right? You know those? You really get absorbed in a Pokemon game. Pokemon is the most amazing thing. And there you are, and that's the DS, isn't it? That's an early DS. Everything changes. Have you noticed? Everything's always changing. One day it's Game Boy Advance, the next day it's DS, and it's 3DS, and look where we are now. 2008, still Lego games, but now we're changing the Lego games. We're adding new things. We've always got to add new things because that's why people are in video games. That's why you play video games, to see what's new. And that's what keeps us going, to make new things. So, of course, we still have our drop-in, drop-out co-op, but now we're splitting the screen, enabling people to separate apart. We're adding open worlds. We're adding new franchises like Batman. We're getting together with DC Comics and discovering the world of Batman, which was a fun world for us. We're moving on to new platforms, always new things, always learning. Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, we were really skeptical at the start. We thought these platforms, they're not going to be for us. We're having a wonderful time on Nintendo platforms. Do you remember when you had a wonderful time on Nintendo platforms? We're having a wonderful time on Nintendo platforms. The Wii's doing great. Lego Star Wars Complete Saga, that's fantastic. But we need to keep changing. We need to keep learning. Lego Indiana Jones, the original adventures on PlayStation 3. Lego Batman, love Lego Batman. And Christmas 2008. Possibly the best of all Lego Star Wars models, do you think? The Death Star? Maybe. You made that all yourself. It took about 2 weeks, didn't it? 2008. So Sam's now 6 years old. 12 plus, it says. That's good. Yeah, that experience. That's a nice experience, isn't it? 2009, Lego Indiana Jones 2. Now we're really changing. Now what we're doing with Lego Indiana Jones 2 is we're enabling people to make things in a Lego game that they can then share with their friends. So Lego Indiana Jones 2 is the first of the Lego games to have a level builder, a creator mode. You could go in and you could physically lift up Lego models and objects and characters and place them wherever you wanted to and script them to perform puzzles and to script them to set up challenges and puzzles which you would then overcome with a friend using your own skill and ingenuity. It's an incredible piece of work that the team did for the Lego Indiana Jones 2 level builder, laying down base plates and then adapting them brick by brick or with them all through the game controller. And we're very proud of that. And it's interesting to be reminded that we were doing it in 2009, along with other Lego work. That's, if you haven't seen Lego Queen, you've now seen Lego Queen. You can tick that off your list. As well as Lego Battles, still having great experience now, trying new things, trying a real-time strategy game as well as our character action games. Lego Queen, of course, from Lego Rock Band. Do you remember peripheral-based music games? They were great, weren't they? Brilliant. I mean, I really loved them. And I was, again, incredibly proud to be able to work together with Harmonix on Lego Rock Band and bringing that fun to the Lego space. And that is Sam and his older brother Toby discovering the power of touchscreen devices. The iPhone was launched in 2007, but it was starting through the iPod as well to get to children in 2009. And that's going to change everything. But that's 2009. That's like, what, 5 years ago? You know? I mean, they were pretty early adopters, but it's only been a few years that these devices have been in the hands of people, let alone children who have got access to the iOS App Store. Everything is changing. It's very exciting. 2010, we made our first iOS Lego game. We actually ported the GBA version of Lego Harry Potter onto iOS and charged for it. It wasn't free to play. It wasn't free to play. We asked people to pay money to buy a game. And it was a good success. We had a lot of fun. We were pleased and proud of that, and we've continued to have increasing success on those platforms as they've become more and more relevant for children. There's Sam playing, still with Toby, and also with his younger brother now. There are three of them in 2010. His younger brother, Ben, still on the GameCube controllers because, you know, although game consoles come and go, they often live on in people's households. We were still selling games we're still selling on all sorts of platforms. We were still selling on GameCube in 2008, I think. I'd have to check that. 2010, not the year that Minecraft first came out in alpha, but the year that we first encountered it. It was in alpha in 2009. But we were starting to play it in 2010. Since then, you've probably put in 2,000 hours of Minecraft. Bit more, you think. You can see you've got your beautiful creeper T-shirt on there. Minecraft is, along with Pokemon, the most amazing thing, as you know. A world not only you can play in, but also that you can shape and control. Now, these are Lego values. We were working on this in our adventure builder, world builder mode as well. But how wonderfully, brilliantly, sublimely realized it was in Minecraft back in 2010, and how exciting that landscape has been ever since then, of all sorts of people playing and creating and sharing in that world. So we're very lucky to be living in these times. You may notice, it's sharp-eyed of you, that Sam is wearing earmuffs as well in the bottom right-hand picture, because it's about this time that you really started to have just unbearable problems with the idea of going to school. Sam had started going to school, his brothers go to school. But it was around about 2010 that actually being in a school was so much less about learning than video games are. Video games are all about learning. Lego is all about learning. And there's more to learning than school. So in 2011, Sam stopped going to school. He started coming to work. Because you've got to go somewhere, right? You know, and we've got to learn a living. So Sam needs to come in, puts his hand, imbues him with the power of the Force through Lego Yoda. While we're making Lego Harry Potter years 5 to 7, also with the adventure mode creator, the Lego level builder, we had great fun working on Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, that was fun. Lego Harry Potter now really starting to build up the open world sense of what a Lego game could be as well, as you explored Hogwarts over multiple years. A huge game, and we each say every time we say this has got to be our biggest game. We're never going to make a game bigger than that. And year after year, we just turn it up higher and higher, richer and richer, along with Lego Star Wars 3 as well. And that was, I don't know if many people remember Lego Star Wars 3. It had that incredible battle mode where we played these events through the story as well as a separate competitive and cooperative mode. Actually had huge armies against each other in a sort of quasi-RTS, quasi-tower defense game mode as well. That was really interesting. I want partly to sort of give a testament to the creativity and the quality of the work that the teams at Traverse Tales and our other developers have done over the years. But also to move towards relatively recent times, like 2002. That seems like yesterday, but it was 2 years ago. That was Lego Lord of the Rings, and also Lego Batman 2, where we really did have an open world, an open Gotham City that you could fly through on planes or fly through as a flying character, as Wonder Woman. And that was where, Sam, you started to discover that there are other people who love video games and learn from video games and create in video games. Not just other people who play Minecraft, but people who make games as part of a culture of making games, which we're here today as part of that culture. That's an event, Game City, an open festival in Nottingham that's been running for the last 8 years. I've been very lucky to be able to go almost every year. We showed the first Lego Star Wars there. We showed Lego Rock Band there. And in 2012, they did an event called the Open Arcade in the Market Square, which was a giant marquee, a tent that anyone could walk into, where game makers were showing their games to the public. And then not just showing them, not like E3, not like, oh, here, here's a massive screen that's shouting at you, but actually talking to people, actually playing with them, actually listening to them, watching them, and taking their ideas back into the game. Sometimes even like changing the game dynamically in response to players' suggestion. I think the idea that players, John touched on it, the idea of players as collaborators, the idea of players as creators, as co-creators, it's something that I think that everyone, you will all agree because it's obvious, is incredibly powerful, but we have been seeing it enacted through events such as Game City over the last couple of years, as well as the online space. The online space is powerful, but it's not accessible to everybody, and not everybody is comfortable there. There's something about events, about getting together with actual people, about seeing people face to face, about walking up to them and saying, "Hi, I love your game," that is particularly special. So we continued going to those kind of events while the teams at Traverse Tales and TT Fusion, other studio, continue to do amazing work to take LEGO games to new levels. As we again engage with new platforms, yet again new platforms, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PS Vita, fantastic. We do an online free-to-play game based on the world of Legends of Chima, the LEGO games. We re-release LEGO Star Wars now on iOS. We re-release it 8 years later. But now refreshed with new controls, and for what is a new generation of audience. So we work on the Wii U, which is a massive privilege to be able to work with Nintendo directly, and on the title which becomes available in the first, for the launch of a new console. And we work on a Lego game, Lego City Undercover, which now creates the biggest imaginable Lego open world, and whose characters devised by the teams in the studio actually get translated back into Lego. The feedback is complete. Now we are making games with characters in which then get turned into Lego figures packed into that special edition box there. And Sam, we go to Insomnia 49. That was a great event. We met the team behind Starbound, a game you were signed up to the beta for, because now you can participate in the creation of these games. You can fund Charles Cecil directly as a 12-year-old. It's what everyone wants. And participating in Starbound, meeting the creators, was a great privilege that inspired Sam to then, and you can see where this is going, make his own games. This is the new generation. Sam was born the same time as Lego Star Wars, post Grand Theft Auto 3. And now Sam, working initially in Game Maker, has made a game. That's the wonderful Chris DeLay from Introversion, playing it at the EGX Rezzed Expo, getting access to people who make games and people making games that seem within the reach of young game makers, supported by people like Mark and Epic and all those great people who are now increasingly reaching into education and tools providers and appreciating the creativity that a new generation can bring. Sam put his first game on the App Store last week. It's called Space Pants, available to buy on the iOS App Store for 99p. Sam, can you describe Space Pants?
No.
Well, that's lucky because the iOS App Store description describes it as an addictive burst of arcade action, easy to play, difficult to master. Avoid all the things. I've mentioned things which may, personally or for you, give a twinge of nostalgia. Nostalgia is something I know about. We've worked with Lego, we've worked with Star Wars, we've worked with Batman. I've worked a lot with children. You see how time passes. You see how quickly it goes, how quickly things change, how quickly our platforms change, how quickly everything changes. And that's the excitement of this world of video games. There's a line in Mad Men, some of you will remember, from when it was good. Do you remember when Mad Men was good? I'm now getting nostalgic for a program about nostalgia. That was the good times. Where Don Draper actually shows a slideshow involving members of his family. And he describes that sense of nostalgia as being a twinge in your heart. I think it tells you two things. It tells you that things are precious, they're here for a time, and then they go. But that doesn't make you want to go back there. That makes you want to make more of them. It wants you to make them want to make more of the future. And I think that's what we're here for, because everything changes, and anything is possible. Space Pants. Thanks very much. Well done.